I completed one of the hardest gaming challenges with over 100 hours of footage. Do I regret wasting over 4 days of my life? Maybe.
3, 2, 1, go!
Son of a bitch!
One of my favorite games is DeadSpace, a game of many things: horror, survival, space aids, sims.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
This is a necromorph, created by its human host obtaining a combination of both type 8 diabetes and space aids. You can kill him, set him on fire, borrow his limbs, and get a free STD on the house. You play as Isaac Clarke, a very mentally stable man, who is tasked with repairing an asteroid cracker station large enough to crack your mom, and is stalked by necromorphs as he walks through the hall. I also forgot to mention I'm not walking. Well, Xeno, the game is obviously impossible to beat without walking. Every time you activate a melee attack, you move about 0.000001% of an inch forward. The rules for this run are quite simple. Don't walk. Except in cutscenes and safe zones. Also, the challenge officially begins after I obtain the plasma cutter and unlock my melee ability. After looting the plasma cutter room, I was faced against my first enemy, this lone scallywag of a slasher. Sadly, he suffers from an uncurable disease called death. One temper tantrum later, and I borrowed my good friend Alberto's stasis module. Hey buddy, obviously you don't need this anymore. Then got translocated to a Dark Souls boss fight.
Son of a bitch!
With the tram systems repaired, I encountered this spawn-camping rapscallion of a spitter. I'm not lying when I say this bastard had me stuck here for 40 minutes, considering I had to stomp through the same exact hallway 6 times over again just to get back to him. And then he died. I was then instructed to help Bangalore from Apex Legends repair our ship. I'm an engineer. I don't need a woman's help. All she can do is get me my hourly dose of sparkling water.
Breathe air!
After turning some leapers into the skull emoji, I had enough spare GPU PCBs to afford a new suit upgrade, which I personally thought was one big thumbs up emoji. With Chapter 1 completed after 5 hours of mental torture and Isaac's audible displeasure,
You piece of shit!
I honestly considered quitting and playing the hit game Pixel Gun 3D, now available on PC. But sadly, my brain lacks its ventral striatum, so I locked in and grinded the stasis, then logged off for the day. Wanna pick up that limb? Stasis. Wanna throw that limb? Stasis. Wanna blow up the whole ship? Oh wait, that can't possibly be right. Stasis.
Sticking out your gap for the riddler. You're so scared.
I want to die. The Lurker, probably one of the most annoying enemies we encounter on our journey. This brain rot addicted Sigma is all too familiar with edging till he boasts, exposing his level 15 Gaia, launching his blizzies. Shut up! The problem with playing DeadSpace without walking isn't the time, for I'm a very patient individual. But the combat, on the other hand, is the opposite of something pleasant. Cause my only method of moving is slower than a crippled man racing molasses. I pretty much need to stay stationary during combat, which means planning ahead of each combat encounters, finding environmental hazards I can use against my foes, which means each individual combat encounter takes roughly 20 minutes. And watching this gameplay proves my point. This is more depressing than finding out what actually happened at Diddy's party. With all the materials needed for my homemade firecracker, I blew up the barricade to the morgue and got sexually assaulted by an old man and a bird.
You know, if you get sweaty and want to take your shirt off, that'd be just fine. You like popsicles? Then you need to come on down to the cellar. I got a whole freezer full of popsicles.
You piece of shit!
With my saving grace now in my possession, that was a funny Elden Ring reference, by the way, you were supposed to laugh, that being the Ripper, I was able to chomp up my enemies like I do my eggs and protein powder in my Ninja Blender every morning. And after seeing this young lad, it was quite obvious he didn't possess a Ripper certification. A total of 3 explosions later, and the engines were repaired in engineering. Fixing the centrifuge was next. And sadly, it's physically impossible for me to do this part without walking. Under normal circumstances, this part of the game is so easy a mobile Fortnite player could ace it on their first attempt. But there's a difference between mobile Fortnite players and me, personally identifying as an abnormal Titan from Attack on Titan. You would see your anime waifu come to life before you would witness me walking 20 feet in front of me before getting crushed by the centrifuge. So I decided to give myself a gold star for my efforts and move on with the run.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Isaac got touched by a large sexual appendage.
Shit, dude, son of a bitch! Fucking die, dude, bitch! Die, you piece of shit, bitch!
And I was rewarded with a flamethrower. This item, forged in the Giant's Forge from Elden Ring, consisted of hairspray, a lighter, and several rubber bands, was created with one thing in mind: destruction. On its own, this device is only useful for stopping the sentient foreskin from suffocating you. But when paired properly with a plasma cutter and pulse rifle, its ability to
peel the enemy's skin off
makes this lethal combination a godsend for future encounters that I'm still to this day mentally recovering from.
Piece of shit, die!
I made quick work of the first bird I encountered, but this being with a lore-accurate body count in the triple digits wanted to lay one hot steaming turd down my neck by draining my current stasis supply as a parting gift. When I was rerouting power from the Ishimura's gaming room to the ADS cannons, I came across these shock pads. I was obviously expected to easily walk over, but with a self-proclaimed pro-gamer certification and my god-awful idea of entertainment, this room took me an entire day to clear. After I ran back, or should I say, whatever the fuck this is, to the previous store to buy enough med packs to tank the damage from the shock pads entirely. And when I finally made it through, I'm deadass gonna punch a hole in my fucking wall. Another hour or so of slowly traversing the Ishimura to get back to where I died, and I blasted the boat's ass cheeks till it stopped moving.
Bitch!
Idiot. Oh, guy. Yeah, you. Fucking idiot. Freaking dumbass. Anyway, I'm here to tell you an important thing. And that thing is that I have a Discord and a Twitch. And I want you to follow that. That doesn't work. I need to say it like a YouTuber would. Or should I say, follow my Discord and Twitch, or this spooky spider will go in your bed tonight and suck your dick dry.
The ADS cannons were calibrated, and Isaac's imaginary waifu came out from hiding. Nicole, make us whole again? Whatever that means. Nicole is a figment of Isaac's imagination, caused by his schizophrenia, only showing up when he forgets to take his funny pills in the morning. Nicole is actually dead, and she's been dead for a while. In Isaac's perspective, he's doing everything in his strength to save her from the STDs and diabetes that resides in the Ishimura. Unfortunately for him, it's all for nothing. But we don't tell him that, of course, because I don't feel like getting my brain stomped out by a mentally unstable man with woman issues. After getting tricked by a Discord mod using Nicole's account, he threatened me with this failed abortion of a man he created by injecting his vitality into an egg. But with his cheats enabled, he was able to neglect all damage I inflict upon him. Are those fucking tongues? I was purposely stashing as many stasis packs as I could during the beginning of this run for the very few hunter encounters in this game. By few, I mean almost every encounter after this chapter. Usually, this man, being, creature with whatever the fuck he is, sucks your stasis supply drier than the Halo TV show's script. But with me moving a quarter of the speed of walking, I was looking at roughly 20 stasis charges per encounter. If you don't play DeadSpace, that's really fucking bad. My strategy was to cut off one limb, leaving him crawling at half his normal speed, and use stasis on him while he starts to regenerate. Rinse and repeat till the encounter is finished. Another pretty easy encounter, for a normal person, is trapping Hunter in the Costco freezer section and sending him to another part of the ship. Usually, you would trap him in the freezer section by using stasis and running over to the control console to freeze him. But due to me being the speed of a legless man attempting to walk on his stubs, this step pun intended, was made difficult. The room you're in has 3 enemy spawns, 2 locos and the hunter. Both locos spawn on opposite sides of the room, here and here, and the hunter spawns near the center, here. Before combat will begin, I broke all the vents in order to use the fan blades to quickly dispose of the 2 locos, leaving 1 fan blade left for me to use on the hunter's legs, giving me enough time to bring him roughly to the entrance of the freezer. While he starts to regenerate, I would use my last stasis charge to freeze him, so I can refill my stasis at the recharge station on the other side of the room. By the time I got to the freezer entrance, the hunter would be fully regenerated. This is where the contact beam comes in. I would obliterate all of his limbs, forcing him into his regeneration animation, where I would freeze him, giving me enough time to set contact mines in the freezer. When he fully regenerates, I would take out all of his limbs, forcing him back into his regeneration animation one last time, giving me enough time to inch forward a few swings. Unfortunately, I can't throw any more stasis or fire at him, due to there being a wall dividing the panel from the freezer. Basic geometry. This is where those contact memes I placed down come in play. By the time he fully regenerates, and the stasis effect is expired, he will walk forward into the 2 mines, blowing his lower torso off, putting him in a 2-second animation before he begins to move again, giving me just enough time to reach the control panels and send this piece of shit back to hell where he came from. And don't forget to grab his ass cheek sample. This is a very important item for this run. This took way too fucking long to do. I killed some necrofox in hydroponics, and injected some Reddit mods with testosterone to rid of the foul stench in the air. Now the Leviathan fight is in 0 gravity, so it was just a normal walk in the park for me. And yes, I technically could have stood on the ground and fought him that way, but I'm gonna ask you one question. Whose challenge run is this? Mine. I played hide and seek with some lasers and engineering, played football with a corpse,
I'm feeling great!
and placed an SOS beacon on a giant-ass space rock. Luckily, there happened to be a large military ship in the area that received a distress call and was on the way. I also killed the Leviathan. Again. And was also forced to partake in the worst puzzle in gaming history. The USM Valor happened to pick up an escape pod that had 1 single slasher in it, that apparently killed every single trained military soldier on the ship, and crashed it into the Ishimura. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like a load of bullshit to me. Have you seen these things? They're pathetic. For mentally unstable man who's literally seeing imaginary woman walking around can kill hundreds of them with a rotary saw from Home Depot, then a fucking military ship with weapons and hundreds of trained soldiers should be able to kill 1 single necrofuck. On board the Valor was an absolute bloodbath. Funny geometry dash, pun intended. The Twitchers. Caffeine overdose much? These were not normal necromorphs, for they were not only infected with accursed space AIDS, but they were living, breathing mistakes. Cosplaying as the Flash if he suffered from overdosing on 8 cans of Prime every day. These men had agility and speed on their side, with the only cure to their abnormally uncanny movement and attack patterns being the smell
of burning flesh and dismemberment.
You see, the flamethrower will cause these Prime Legionaries to have a micro-seizure right before your very eyes, giving you enough time to grind them into a fine paste. Without their consent, of course. A necrofuck tried to give me head, so I played a game of rock, paper, fuck you with his forehead.
Son of a bitch!
After helping my good friend Alberto with his boo-boo, I beat the ever-living shit out of this poor wheelchair that was guarding the door to my next encounter. That was when I realized that I might just be a little bit on the autistic spectrum. And it was at this encounter that I also realized that poor wheelchair was only trying to warn me of the terrible and foul creatures that lie beyond that door. He only wished to help aid me on my journey, and in return, I 360 kinesis suplexed his ass into a malfunctioning medical laser. F in the chat for this poor wheelchair. After surgically removing this bloke's ass cheeks with an asteroid cracker, I made my way to the engine room, and had a fun time spending 50 minutes traversing through open flames with my companion cube at my side. After Hammond's heroic sacrifice, I was able to retrieve the Singularity Core, but deep down, we all know who the real hero was. My fellow gamers, I must tell you something very important about this run. That's that my dumbass forgot to record all the gameplay from chapters 10 through 12. I hope you guys will accept my sad YouTube apology video, and no guys, please, no. Short summary of what happened. Now I find myself here. I'm guessing you're wondering how I'm supposed to beat the Hive Mind, and stop him from body slamming me with his anime tentacles. Good question. I won't. I plan on simply tanking all the damage by filling my inventory up with tier 3 med packs and praying to God that I have enough. How will I get an inventory full of tier 3 med packs? Before I left, I gathered all the necessary items and upgrades I would need in order to effectively put the hive mind in its place. These items include prototype stasis module, heavy blades plasma cutter mod, and enough nodes to upgrade my plasma cutter and suit to max HP. The Divider. The Divider is a rare enemy, appearing only a select few times in your playthrough, and this Slenderman looking head-ass was hiding a secret from me, with that secret being password protected. That's where all these upgrades I purchased come in handy. Luckily, I knew that the password was right trigger, left trigger, wait, right trigger, Y. With my Mortal Kombat fatality mastered, I was blessed with infinite resources from this man's dismembered torso, providing me with enough credits to load my inventory full of medpacks. After getting molested by some tentacles one last time, Kendra held Isaac's wife hostage and threatened to delete my Fortnite account.
She's Elizabeth Cross.
That's not my wife. Kendra got what she deserved, and my blind date was revealed to me to be the Gravemind from Halo 3. And to be completely honest, she was a low tier 8 in my books. I was expecting better. With my inventory full of med packs, I only choose to take the contact beam with me into this fight to break the Gravemind's tumors. And this might actually be the first time in gaming history that one of my plans actually worked effectively. A little bit of my ass getting suplexed and thrown across the arena later, and the Gravemind was actually defeated. The answer is no. You can't beat DeadSpace without walking. As much as I believe you gamers want me to say yes, the centrifuge is physically impossible to get around without a quick movement technique, which I obviously lacked during this run. And this is the part of the video where I beg you to like and subscribe or I'm going to cry.